welcome to Black Coffee Northwest. My name is Erwin, Big E, and I'm just going to take you around and show you what we do here and learn a little bit about Black Coffee Northwest. So this is our main lobby. We started out about a year and a half ago, 2020, October 17th is when we opened. And when we opened there, we wasn't welcomed by everyone, but the cool thing is that the community stuck by us and we were able to really give the community what we had promised them. We sell a lot of different kind of merchandise. And again, you know, it's one of those community spaces where we do a lot here. It's just not about coffee, it's about doing events, bringing people together. And so some of the things we do here, we like to do barbecue competitions, we like to do car shows, we have music artists that come here and perform on Saturdays. We have a marketplace on Saturdays where we have a lot of local Black businesses come and they set up and they can sell their product. It's just it's a phenomenal place to meet people. It really is. So this is, you know, the main lobby down here. We have like aerobics classes. You know, we clear all the tables out and we have aerobics classes that go on. I actually am a radio controlled car guy, so I cleared all the tables out and had some kids down here and we ran some cars around this thing, you know. On a Sunday when we were closed. So over here, we have a full coffee bar, and we have numerous drinks. Like I said before, we have pastries, we have all kinds of cold drinks. We have Red Bull drinks, we have Lotus drinks. If you don't know what Lotus is, it's real similar to Red Bull, only it's more of the natural type of caffeine. We also have a conference room, and right now our leadership team is having a meeting. And that's my wife, Darnesha. She's leading the meeting today. And then that's our leadership team. And these are the folks that are instrumental in making this business.
Hello everyone, my name is Darnesha and I'm President and CEO of Black Coffee Northwest Grounded. We are here in our leadership team meeting. We meet every week to discuss strategies, what we're going to do for the month. We evaluate what we've done for the past month. We look at budgets, events. This is really all of the necessary departments that come around the table to talk about operations at our shop.
So hi, I'm Diana. I'm the event program manager here at Black Coffee, as well as one of the youth directors. I'm also a college student. I go to Uplifting. I'm a senior youth this year, so exciting, get to graduate. But yeah.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm the project manager here and the Grounded Youth Director. I'm a sophomore at Shoreline Community studying criminal justice. Hopefully I can graduate next year. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm the operations manager, which means I do hiring, staffing, budgets, I do all the billing, I do my best, and ordering, working on retail beans, and just, you know, trying to make everything flow as best we can.
Hello, my name is Rachel Fabier. I am the project and marketing coordinator. I'm currently working on a podcast, which will be coming soon, April 12th. So look out for that.
Hi, my name is Maylia Willis. I am the barista and shop manager here at Black Coffee Northwest. I'm also the event coordinator here for our Saturday marketplaces and all of our bigger events that you see happening on the weekends or after hours during the week. I'm currently just really trying to pursue a passion in marketing and coordination and organization within corporations and businesses and making sure they're as successful as possible.
Yeah. And if you notice, they're all pretty young folks. They have really good ideas, y'all, they really do. They present their ideas, we look at them, we talk about it, and if it's within the budget, we let them execute. So I'm gonna show you a good example of letting them just kind of do what they do in execution right next door in our youth area called Grounded. So this is Grounded, and the first thing you'll notice is all the beautiful colors. This was the youth that you see in that other room's idea, particularly Robin and Diana, because they're the program managers for Grounded. So I'll take you to this first space. So this room right here is a blue room, and they came up with the color blue because they said it's a relaxing color. And so this is the study area. And so we have books that folks can read. People come in here, hang out. kind of wind down, get some studying done, maybe collaborate with ideas. A lot of youth come through this space because there's a lot of neighboring schools around. Right next door is going to be the mental health room, which the team calls it the situation room. And so in the situation room, there's a mental health therapist that we have come a couple times a month and just go over mental health stuff with the youth. And so, real conversations happen in here, whether they're good or bad. The room is yellow, they says, to kind of make you happy. Even if the news isn't always good, it's like the sunshine. And so I dig it. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I'll show you this next area just here in the seating area. We're still developing it, but it's gonna be more of our gaming area. So we're gonna get some TVs, an Xbox, a PS5, and the youth can come play video games and hang out, kind of a hangout area right here. So the last room, and it's my favorite room, is the podcast and studio room. And so we're about 60% done on the soundproofing. We still got a ways to go. But the podcast room is functional. Like, we've already done a couple of episodes that will be out soon for like iTunes and all the outlets to listen to podcasts. I always wanted a room, and I said, I would love it to be red, and they did it. They made it red all right. The final thing I'll show you is what we do for the youth without any questions asked. So we have snacks for them. So we want to make sure that they're eating just, different kinds of snacks, no questions asked. You come in here, you grab something. There's cup of noodles, there's macaronis, there's fruit snacks, stuff like that, stuff that kids like to eat. And so, like I said, you just come in, you get it, you feel welcome. We have drinks. You just open the refrigerator just like at home. You grab something, and we replace these snacks as needed. If they go low, we go get some more. So, but that's what we do here. This space is really a community space. Black Coffee Northwest caters to community. We have a lot of cool things that go here, not just for kids, but for adults as well. And we also have a spot in Ballard that we're developing into a coffee shop. Hopefully in summer it will be open, but right now it's a space where we're having music acts that perform there. So usually on Sundays, there's a new music group that will perform there and showcase their talent. So that is Black Coffee Northwest. Thank you so much for tuning in to us, and we hope to see you. Hope to see you soon.
Erwin,
Hey,
welcome to the show, the Bet Out of That Show. I'm so happy to have you here
Yeah.
today.
so happy to be here. Thank you for having us on the show.
Hey guys,
It's an honor.
I always wear like a sweater or whatever. I'm wearing my Black Coffee shirt, hoodie that I initially
Nice.
wore like a year ago when I used to do my excerpts. You guys inspired the Bet Out of That Show because of what you guys do in the community. I created a YouTube channel so I can share financial information with our community as well. You guys are an inspiration to this show, and I'm so happy to have you on. So
Man,
welcome.
it's great. That's a nice shirt too. That's the original one right there with the old crown. That's amazing that you still got that.
So Black Coffee Northwest is more than a coffee shop. It's like an urban Starbucks on steroids. Who came up with
Yeah.
that concept? And were you guys inspired by another business, or did you guys come up with that on your own?
No, we came up with that on our own like over 15 years ago. Darnesha and I really love coffee, and we always love community. I mean, we've been in nonprofit work for over 20 years. And we've talked about this. Like we've actually talked about having a coffee shop in a youth area that we can really cultivate into what the community needs, because we know what the community needs. Like we saw it. And like I said, even 20 years ago, we had this model. We knew what we needed to do.
Wow. Look, you guys have gotten a lot of recognition here in the Seattle area and well deserved. Can you share with our audience some examples of the support you guys have been getting? And have you guys been getting any love from famous people or like big companies?
Yeah, we have gotten some great partnership opportunities with some major companies. We just presented with at Microsoft, which was really great for their Glam Global. We have some, we work with some A-list artists, which we're really excited about. We will have some artists coming through actually this summer that we can't announce right now, but they're coming through, and these are big time artists. And so we're really excited that the community is behind the work that we're doing, and they're not just talking about it, they're ready to be about it. And so they're starting to pull up and represent, and I love that.
Have you guys gotten any like TV offers or anything of that nature, or any reality show offers? You guys are so popular here.
Yeah, we definitely have had some conversations about what that would look like, and we've gotten approached a few times, and we're just kind of waiting right now because we're still in the process of building, and we don't want to take attention from that. We want to make sure that we are responsible with Black Coffee and how we work. We work with a lot of leaders, a lot of young leaders, and so we're being cautious and strategic about that. Absolutely. We've had several offers, but we're really not here for that right now. And when it's time, it'll be time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, our focus is really making sure we stand solid and making sure people know who we are, and just be unapologetically who we are without any to mold us into what they want us to be.
So guys, why coffee? What gave you the unmitigated gall to open a coffee shop in the hometown of Starbucks and in Starbucks' backyard? How dare you?
Well, what they don't have is our brains. What they don't have is our vision and how we execute. We've been strategic about this. There's a coffee shop at every corner in Seattle. They're everywhere. There's small shops, there's large shops, there's stands everywhere. But again, what they don't have is Erwin and Darnesha and our background and our passion and how we work together. And now we are Black owned, and we're very proud of that. We're very upfront with that. That's what leads who we are. And we will stand on the side of right and apologetically at all times, no matter what. And then we're not scared of that either. And most don't have that either because they're afraid to say what the right thing is. And the world is changing, and people are looking for brands to stand on the side of right.
That's absolutely right. I mean, honestly, like we are always going to err on the side of doing what's right, not just for us, community, and the people that we serve. So our brand is definitely different. But when you come to the shop, you feel like I belong here. Like this is authentic. Like this is who these people are. They're not just putting on a show. A lot of companies will put on a show and not really say what they mean. We say exactly what we mean, and we mean what we say. And so you feel the authenticity when you walk right in. You don't have to stay there long to see we really mean well, and we really want the community to prosper.
Yeah, you guys have been big in the community way before, you open Black Coffee. Would you like to share some of your background on that?
Sure. So Erwin has been heavily involved in community work and connecting with specifically young boys in our community and making sure that they have representation, because we do live in an area where it's just 2% of Black people. And so representation is very important, especially as a Black man. And so he has worked with young boys who the community has not looked at as an asset, or people that have not looked at as important. And so he has shown up to be important, and just a great representation through various avenues. I would say all of the community work that we have done, it's been just good out there.
Yeah.
and we just show up.
Sometimes you don't have to do the most to make a big difference. Sometimes it's showing up, seeing what's needed, and then doing what's important, work out positive. And so a lot of we worked full-time jobs and everything. After the job's over, we didn't go right home. If we went home, we're preparing for a community event or, like a step team or a drill team event. And so that's what we've done for a long.
Just small things. We really believe in like small, and we make sure that we celebrate the small things. And that's what's led up to this. So we always like to tell the story that Black Coffee didn't just show up like one day. We have been working on this. We have plans and thousands of notes and pages that span the last 10 years. Everything that we even worked in corporate spaces, we were like, oh, we don't like that. That's not great, or it's not getting them the result. You write that down. We're like, the do not do list.
Yeah.
And then every time we had a great idea, we just wrote it down. We had no idea what we were doing, but what we were doing is really creating the playbook. We created that. We can go back to our own notes.
Yeah, not only that, but we like Darnesha said, we took notes, and we made mistakes. Like, we definitely made mistakes. We wrote those mistakes down, and we're like, okay, we're not going to do that again. Let's try something different. And, it didn't just come like really easy, or it was just like, oh, I have a great idea one day. It wasn't like that. We absolutely knew where we were going and the trajectory that this thing is going, and it's going to go far.
Yeah, and I'm gonna open the chat up in a moment for those who have questions. If you have a question, put a Q and a colon, and when I open up the chat, we'll read your questions live to Darnesha and Erwin, the owners of Black Coffee. So hey guys, where are both of you from? We didn't talk about where the both of you grew up. Tell us a little bit about your background growing up.
Yeah, well, I graduated from Davis High School. I actually grew up in Yakima, Washington, which is like 2.5 hours east of Seattle. And it's a small town. There's a lot of great things that go on in Yakima, and a lot of things that, of course, need to change. Just like any small town with a lot of things that goes on. But growing up in Yakima really helped me become who I am today. It wasn't easy, but I had a lot of support growing up. There was a lot of community leaders that were amazing, and so I got a chance to see what community leadership looks like, and it really does work, And so for me, that's how I execute a lot of the things that I do today, is by watching others before me actually do a really good job at taking care of community.
Yeah, and Darnesha?
Yeah, I grew up actually in this area. I was raised in South Seattle, and then my parents got divorced, and one moved to Renton and one moved to Linwood. And so I ended up in Linwood in a space where I didn't see myself anywhere in school. I graduated from Meadowdale High School in 1997. And so it was hard out there in the Meadowdale High back then. Had a lot of things that I had to deal with, especially racism, and then just having teachers that didn't look like me and weren't culturally competent at the time. So I just started to create small communities. I started a step team at my school back then. I figured out how to make an official club. I love systems and operations, and I love figuring those things out. And so I made sure that we had, I started creating a budget for ourselves. And then when I went to college, I started the BSU at my college, and I started one at my high school, and I started one at a couple other high schools. So I took the model from my high school as a high school student and duplicated that all around Edmond School District. And so, that's something I'm going to do, is create something that can be duplicated or handed down to the succession is very important to me. And so, yeah, that's my background, and have just been out here showing, and we've shown up to the community school city council meetings. We have shown up to school board meetings. We have shown up in our community at various places. We're both church kids also, and that's a very important part of our background because we grew up being surrounded by our church community and being surrounded by and being pushed to get up there and sing or get up there when you're scared, and they would clap for you and push you and continue. And that's really where we learned that from. Just, we want to be that for everyone. We really want to be that person that says, get up there and just do it.
Encouragement goes a long way. You know, it really does.
Yes.
So, yeah, so Darwin and Anisha, I'm getting a little background noise, but I'll go with it. Both of you have professional backgrounds. What were the pivotal incidents that made you say, enough? I'm betting on myself from here out, and I'm going to open a business.
You know, for me, it seems like I was always either the first to leave, first to arrive and the last to leave. And it never really meant anything because as hard as I worked or if I had great ideas, I couldn't climb the ladder like other people. You know, it just was it was a trend that I kept seeing all the time. Not only that, but, you know, again, back to I have these ideas and no one's taking these ideas seriously. You know, that happens all the time. And it seems like, okay, now that other stuff don't work, well, what's your idea? Well, it's kind of late to go back and try to redo everything. And so it was this consistent, like, not believing me, you know, or just, you know, an idea. And so now that I can execute the ideas the way that, you know, we get them, like, it just works. You know, like Darnesha and I are just like, oh, wow, now the fence is open. Let's get this thing done. Let's trust these youth to do things. Let's have meetings and talk about how to grow. Let's do things the right way that we see is the right way. And it just worked. And so, you know, there's been a lot of things that I learned in, you know, just working for other folk, you know, just technology and how to do marketing and, you know, things like that. But when it comes down to really executing the business and relationship building and that kind of thing, business development, I know how to do that stuff. That's just something I've always been really good at because I really like connecting with people. And so there's not really a formula for that. If you know how to connect with people, you just go for it, you learn your mistakes, and you keep, and that's what we train our youth today to do. And they're just amazing. They get out there and they're fearless.
My background is in nonprofit. I actually started as a volunteer. I walked into a nonprofit one day as a volunteer and climbed my way up to senior executive level. And what I was finding is that I have a real passion for community. I have a real passion for Black youth, especially in a place where we're underrepresented. So when I would give these ideas, how to execute, right? I know how to run a program. I know how to forecast. I know operations and numbers because I love spreadsheets. So I just hit a ceiling. Like I knew I was never going to go any further. I knew I was going to never go. I was poked in my work. There was never celebration for my work. My work was always hijacked. I would see it show up somewhere else. And I was like, wait a minute, that was my idea. And I also was someone that would not ever compromise my passion for community and actually serving. And so I had I was written up a lot. I was written up a lot because I would always push and I was never afraid to push. And so I had multiple times where I was sat down and told, you can't wear your hair like that. And I wear my natural hair. I was told that I was too loud, that I was too ghetto. And so that's why I left. I was done.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
When I was called ghetto and unprofessional, just because of my mannerisms. Yeah, and it's because I like to talk with my hands. I'm very much who I am. It was time to go.
Yeah.
It was a very public. It was all over the news, talk radio, a negative light, you know. But I was out here being reckless and yeah, it was a hard time, but it was time. And I used that as motivation to do this business and make sure no other person, no other woman, no other Black woman, no other Black man has to go through what we've gone through in the workplace.
Oh,
That we are
wow.
determined to make sure that our staff never are in our children, generational for us. We're building something that's going to outlive us. Now we're talking about our grandkids. Like, we ain't gonna have none for a while.
Yeah, no, we don't want to. But yeah, she's right though. I mean, I don't want other people to go through what we went through because it wasn't fun, number one. Number two, it wasn't productive, even for the business. Like a lot of wasted talent, a lot of wasted energy, a lot of unnecessary stress that could have been saved if everyone worked together and kept, let's just be real, racism out of it, and that's just what it is.
For sure. And there's nothing ghetto about you, Darnesha, and so, and at an executive level, that's crazy. Let me open up the chat. We have a couple of questions in the chat. I'm going to flash them up so that you guys can address those live. Others, if you have questions for Erwin and Darnesha, just put a Q : and I'll flash it up for those guys to answer. Take a look at the screen. We have a question from Miss Jams, and she says, let me flash it back. I love how you are teaching young ladies leadership skills. What are you doing for men?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I like it, Miss James. So we are going to be working with the fellas. I'm actually starting to work with fellas. Fellas are really creative too, just like the females. And so what I found out about this area is there's a lot of talent in music. There's a lot of talent in art, and so I'm reaching out to, and I've already worked with young Black men with both of those things. And as we're developing our studio, I definitely want to cater to, most everyone, but specifically me personally, I love to target the Black men because, man, if you give them something that they like to do, they can do some amazing things. I've seen it. When I coached the drumline, there was kids that never beat on a drum before. And then, months later, we're winning competitions against people that's played drums like forever, And so it's just giving the inspiration and the opportunity to try things. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to be working a lot with our youth men, with our men.
And I'll say that what Erwin has done is he has helped launch entrepreneurs. We have a food vendor that was just in our shop yesterday that Erwin gave a chance, taught him, showed him what to do. Now he's a full-fledged business, and he comes in and he sells out every single week. Erwin has also spoken with, yes, multiple artists in our community who did never see their art as that it could be monetary, that it could be money. And so Erwin has purchased so much art and inspired them to actually grow their business and be an entrepreneur. So he has launched multiple businesses and is working right now with one of his friends that's launching an outdoors program for Black youth. And so they have their first launch coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we'll be doing we're doing a Black family camp this summer. And this is all being led by Erwin and the men at our shop. And so I love the fact that they're able to come in and launch businesses and brainstorm and very technical and understands how to open it. He's an entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur for his full entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
From shoes, from he has collect trade shoes, and that's a huge game, the sneaker game. But he has been doing, and then music and production, and then inspiring other entrepreneurs. He loves working on his car. Taught most men around our area how to change your oil, your tires. If you run into
how to get it fixed without spending all your money.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's one of those things where I love a lot of different things, like Darnesha said, cars, shoes, like radio control car. I like all that stuff. I like to build stuff, and so what I do is I connect with people that like to do that stuff, which is mostly young men, you know, especially Black men, because they don't really see a Black guy that's into all that stuff, especially at my age, that knows it really well. And so I'm able to connect with them. It's a great time. It's fun for me. It's their fun.
Yeah, we got more questions in the chat. Got a question from the next world leader coming from Miami, Florida. So if you, I'm gonna flash it up. Do you have any specific infused coffees with specific herbs like Dr. Sebi style? The coffee is for the brain stimulation, and this coffee is for focus, etc. You know, do you guys have that type of coffee in your shop?
We will. We're working on that actually right now for our next location, our ballot location. And so we're working with a Black doctor who's amazing. And she has spoken with us about, and we're working with an herbalist as well. And so we're really excited about that. And so we will be, it's in development.
All right.
Because
Excellent.
we want to heal. We're really definitely about healing the body, mind, and spirit, and whatever we can do to make sure that we're healing ourselves and teaching other people how to heal themselves. We're definitely into natural medicine and holistic medicine, and so we want to pass that on. I always tell people that it's not our lane, and so we can collaborate with somewhere it is their lane, and that's what we're doing right now. We're just going to collaborate and make sure we create a great product for our community.
Yeah, okay. The next question we're gonna address right after this. Have you, has there been any major obstacles that you had to navigate through? We're gonna go through that in a moment, Miss Jam. So let's hold that question for the next segment. We're gonna hit that in closing. So good question. Here's another question for the next world leader. I was on your site and didn't see the active blends. Are you selling your proprietary blends online and online soon, or do you have to go to Seattle to get the goodness?
I mean, we would love for you to come to Seattle, but we will be selling it online. We're waiting right now. We'll be dropping that, like any day?
Yeah, probably the next week or two.
Yeah.
We'll have plenty of product online for sale.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so we got various comments in the chat. And so let's get to the next segment before we wrap it up. And let's go into a little more. And by the way, guys, if you like the content, if you're finding value in this, like the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the show. It's free and it helps with the algorithms very much. So hey Darnesha, let me come back to you guys. You know, in starting the business, I saw an interesting video from another podcast that you were on specifically, and you described how you guys got started and how you leveraged another business to get started. I thought it was a great best practice. Can I share that with our audience?
Absolutely.
All right, check this out, guys. This is a gem here. If you're going to start a business, do it this way. Check this out.
First thought we had, it was like a midnight, and I was like, we're gonna do this coffee shop, it's happening. I inboxed Ephraim at Boon Boona.
Hey, shout out Ephraim. Actually, he's an alumni of our podcast.
Oh, is he? I love Ephraim. And I was like, you don't know me, but we're trying to open a coffee shop. And he was like, for sure. So we went down there and spent months with him, and he taught us about coffee, how to be responsible with where we get our coffee from, how to make sure that we're not harming the country that's coming from, and that it's not causing harm in the farmers and the families. And he trained our whole staff. He helped us come up with the menu. We used his coffee beans for about the first year. He helped us getting into doing our own coffee beans. He came up, I could keep going and going and going. He taught us the business of coffee with the mindset of we're all trying to grow and we're all trying to win together. And so people were like, that's a competitor. I was like, why? that's not my competitor.
Yeah.
Like, there can be more than one black coffee shop.
For sure.
Like, there's more than one other things all over the place. Like,
no, for sure. And ultimately, like, you can't serve everybody.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I loved working with him, and that's how we learn. Like, he just put us through Coffee University.
Man, you're dropping gems. And I think sometimes when you're just saying stuff like you're saying, people don't consider it gems, but it really is. Sometimes you have to know who's doing the thing you want to do and go talk to them and reach out to them and learn from them, you know?
And just collaborate.
Yeah.
Bro. Like that's big, even if you're in the same industry. It's like, you know,
No, for
it's
sure.
important. Like that's the only way we're gonna really grow, like you said, you know. So
No, for sure.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. It's dope, man. Shout out to Ephraim, man.
yeah, shout out
Shout out to
Yeah, guys, give me your thoughts. What is your advice for those who are inspired by your story and would like to follow your footsteps, to open a business, to follow their dreams? I saw how you guys did it. Why don't you share some best practices that you would like, if you knew now what you knew back then? You know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. I mean, I wish we could have done this earlier, honestly. It just showed me that we have what it takes. And so people out there that's looking to start their own business, their own thing, first of all, if you have the mindset to do that, and you have a real purpose and a reason to do that, then you need to follow it. You need to execute it at 100%. You need to take no should not even cross your mind. It's all about, how can I get this thing started? And how can I make it to be what I envision it being? You know, and if you have that mindset, people will feel that. People will help you the stuff that you don't know, because you're not going to know everything. Starting out is not going to be perfect. You're going to have about 70%, if that, of what you actually need to have to start. The rest is going to come from help. It's going to come from, it's not going to be easy. But if you give 100% of effort, and then connect with people that are successful, connect with people that are willing to share, and the best way to get started.
And I would say on that is just, we're naturally curious people. We love asking questions. And so be curious. And if you don't know, you don't know. There's a level of vulnerability that goes with this. We are owners of a business, and we're very upfront with, we don't know everything, because who knows everything? But we know people, we know how to ask questions, and we've literally called and been like, okay, you know, so-and-so, we're trying to do so-and-so, like, how do we do that? And we only work with people who are willing to collaborate with us, because it's a win-win for everybody. And there's many coffee shops, there's many artists, there's many other businesses out there, but there's nothing like you, what you bring to the table. And people in the world are waiting for you and what you bring to it. And we hope that we're a good example of that, because there's multiple coffee shops, so there's not an Erwin and Darnesha behind the scenes. And that's for everyone out there. There's not a you, and the world is looking and needs you to bring your sauce, your secret sauce, into that space. And if I would change anything for me, I would be very careful about who we bring around us. And I would be very careful about my circle, because I had a lot of people around me that were just not healthy, and they weren't contributing to the business. And so I would do a much better job of quickly and then removing them. And that's the growth for me as a leader, because I definitely am someone that wants to bring everyone along. I'm like, come. But if they're not ready, and if they're not a part of our vision and in our strategic plan, if they're not healthy, I should have cut them off a long time ago. Because that has a lot of unnecessary drama for our business, our staff, our family, and our mental capacity needs to be focused on our business and growth, and not on messy and sloppy people.
Yeah, and you what Darnesha gave you the courage to just reach out to another shop and say, I'm opening a shop, and will you help me?
We did research. We were following Boom Boona. Shout out to Boom Boona.
Hey.
They're in Renton, and they have another location in Capitol Hill. But we were looking around at different coffee shops, looking at their websites, looking at who they were, how they sourced their coffee, and Ephraim just had it. Like, we were like, okay, he's being responsible. He's another Black coffee owner. He's another Black man in business. Like, to me, we're like, that's bomb. I think those were the words. We're like, he's another Black man in business. And so we just inboxed him, and him and Erwin talked to him, and then they actually formed a really good business partnership and friendship. And that's just how it worked. Like, he had us down there. He came, he's in Renton, but he came to Shoreline like once a week, multiple times a week, when our machines went down. And he was just very open to hook us up with who his roasters and who his technical person was that fixed his physical machine, who cleans them. I mean, got connected. And as we grow, we continue to tell about story. It's a win-win for everybody. Like, we don't drink, we're not open 24/7, all right? But I would rather someone go, if they're in Renton, to go to him and support his business than go to another big just corporation.
One of the things that I took away from, positive things I took away from this experience, is connecting with people that want success and growth, not just for themselves, but for the community, for other Black men, for other Black women. You know, Ephraim is a great example of that. There's a great example of that too. Zuri's Donuts, Zuri's Honey Water. You know, we have a lot of great partnerships with people that really get the vision and really get what it means to grow. And not everyone is like your competitor, or, oh, they're the bad people. We don't do that. We want us all to win, you know, and that's the goal.
Go ahead, continue.
Oh no, you got it.
Yeah. Do you think that's the conventional method, to just reach out to a perceived competitor to help you out?
Well, I don't really see them as competitors, especially as other Black businesses.
I said perceived.
Yeah, people think it's weird. A lot of people are just like, they think it's weird. Like, why would you do that? Why would you tell them all your business? But I'm like, it's at the end of the day, it's just coffee. There's only so many ways you can make it, right? There's only so many cups we can serve. And so the fact that he was down to do that, and now we are that for other people. We have launched so many entrepreneurs. We have launched so many businesses. We have people that text us and call us all the time, like, who does your payroll? How do you do that? Who's your attorney? How do you know, we share the information all the time because there's no secret about it. I mean, if it's working for us, we say do that. If it didn't work for us, we're like, try that. If it worked, but here's what barriers that we had. Here's the issues we had. We could reach anybody. We called the customer service line. Like, we just get down to the things that affected us, and then help coach people. Like, we are coaches, business coaches, and so we're definitely coaching people along. And that's just by sharing our best practices out in the community all the time. We're definitely an open book.
Yeah, I want to. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're definitely open book. Like, our playbook is definitely, we have shared it with multiple people that deserve to have it shared. And what I just say, deserve, that are just not out there trying to make money, a money grab, or exploit our community. We're not about making money. We want to make money, but we have a passion behind that. Yeah. And so we're not just here for people that want to make a quick million or a quick, couple million, walk away. We're not here for that. We're not here for that.
Yeah, I was gonna address the next question, and Miss Jams alluded to it, and I said I would come to it in this segment. And Black Coffee had multiple incidents to overcome. Racist people that did not want you in the community. You have gone through racist graffiti and arson, try to burn your building down, and all of this. So I guess let's talk about some of the obstacles you have faced, and how did you deal with those threats, and advice for future Black business owners who may unfortunately face similar situations or challenges.
I would say we've had multiple, the day before we were set to open, someone tried to burn the building down with Molotov cocktails. And there's a video of that. Like when we had to watch that video, I was just like, what? But we're a Black business. We're coming to a white community. We were prepared. We knew that everybody was going to be like, yay, they're here. Everybody in the community loved Black coffee. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then they found out who was behind Black coffee, that we were Black people. And then it became an issue before we even opened. It became an issue immediately with that. And we had to do a lot of teaching, a lot of exposing, a lot of telling the story. We are not, we don't want to be looked at as just the coffee shop with all these issues, you know, like the oppression issues. It's a part of our story, but it's not who we are. And I would say the number one thing that we did is we focused on our internal team. We didn't care about, we care about the building, but we can fix the building. We have insurance. I mean, there were just always perceptions that people had that we didn't have insurance, we didn't have safety plan in place, and or the perception that we did it ourselves.
Yeah, for some odd reason, some people thought we did this to ourselves. First, done like real early in the morning, before I get up. I ain't trying to burn my own building. No, before I even open it. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's just
Go ahead.
The perception of, yeah, they can't do things, or they don't deserve to be there, or they brought this on themselves. Well, I mean, okay, but I'm going to tell you what we're also going to bring is we're going to bring solutions to some of these crazy, ridiculous acts, and by bringing people together, that's part of bringing the resolution.
And we're not afraid to tell the story. Like, we're going to continue to tell the story. We're going to tell the story every single time it happens, because the community needs to know about this. Is just a reality. Yeah. We've been going through this over 400 years. Like, this ain't new to us. It's a reality, though, and it's in this community of a story that it's here. And we also make sure that we talk with our team. We work with our team. We have a therapist come in, sister circles. We hold them close to us and let them know that even though these things happen to you, you can anything. But if you're tired and don't want to, you don't have to be resilient all the time. So we've closed the shop down when that happens, and we focus on the health of our team. We'd rather shut the shop down for a day to make sure our team is okay. We've lost revenue days, but we had it planned. We have a contingency plan. We're not no rookies at this. We know how to do this. And so the perception that we don't, very annoying.
Yeah, let's go to the chat. We have a few additional questions, and if you have questions, put a Q and a colon, and I will flash them up so that our owners of Black Coffee Northwest can respond to those. So got a couple of questions in the chat. Let me flash them up. I have a question here from Tony Johnson. How did you go about raising the capital to start your shop?
We invested our own money to start our shop. We didn't go in it. We did some public crowdfunding campaigns. Most part, we invested our own money. We just took a chance on making an investment on ourselves. We didn't have a lot of access to capital, and that was something that we didn't grow up learning financial literacy, and we didn't want to put ourselves in a place where our business wouldn't be able to sustain. And so we went and did some financial literacy classes, and we went and learned, and we went and figured this thing out. We work with our credit union closely, and so this next round we will have capital. But we wanted to make sure that we were fiscally and ready to do that. Erwin and I are very calculated in how we move. And so we had to make sure we knew what we were doing first.
Gotcha.
I guess that's the most important thing. Learning. You have to know what you're getting into before you get into it. Because a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, let's execute this and do this. And they're not fully aware of what they're committing to. And that could be on the road. We didn't want to commit ourselves into something that, well, we were betting on ourselves, first of all, but we also wanted to be responsible in how we executed.
So we had a lot of things like our sign. We got a sign on our building a year later.
Yeah.
We chose not to spend money. Like we chose not to spend our liquid, our cash on a lot of exterior or a lot of like marketing exterior signs and things like that, because we wanted to make sure that we had solid payroll systems in place, that we had solid forecasting and a solid budget in place. And as we were learning those things, we brought our team along how to budget, forecast, file taxes, do receipting. You know, they know how to do those things, what we can write off, what we can't write off. And as we were learning, we were teaching them. So when we do grow, we all grow together.
One of the things we did, like Darnesha just said, is we grew our business inside out, you know? And so we, you know, a lot of people, they focus so much on the outward appearance, but then the inside is just, you know, kind of a hot mess. We wanted to make sure we had the inside really good, and then we can work on the outside when you got that foundation.
Because we worked for some very pretty businesses with pretty campuses and lots of things, but a lot of unhappy employees.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We did not want to be that.
So we got another question. Miss Jams has a question. What your goals in 5 years? What are your goals in 5 years? And then also, just to piggyback, do you plan on opening more businesses? What about franchising?
Our goal for the next 5 years is to open 2 shops per year. And we have done the financial planning to make sure we can do that. And so this year we're opening our Ballard shop, which we're really excited about. The plan is to duplicate this model in a franchising. It's a franchising model that we can duplicate. We can duplicate it right now. We're ready to make that move. So that is our goal. The actual building out a franchise, we've got a lot of, I mean, we've spoken to so many different people that have done that. So we're not going to do the franchising, but we're going to use the franchise model.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's get another question up here. Here's a question from the next world leader. How did Black Coffee survive the pandemic? He's calling it yeah. And did it make you stronger going through that?
You know, it was one of those things where we were going to open regardless. We opened at probably the worst time you would want to open a business. You know, middle of 2020, all the social uprisings, all the horrible things that was going on at that time. That's kind of still carrying on right now. But opening a business like that is difficult. We didn't look back. It didn't scare us away. We just knew we had to do what we needed to do. It's the right. We didn't look back. And so the way it made us stronger is, yeah, it was definitely hard. We couldn't even gather like we wanted to, you know, like we're people that like to do events and host big gatherings. And of course, with COVID, you can't do, you know, so we had to get real creative on how we brought, you know, income in, on how we connected with the community, but, you know, while still connecting with people, still got to be responsible. And so that's what we did. And now that starting to open back up, you know, we can see daylight into, we haven't even done this business like the way we really wanted to do yet. Like there's still so much room for growth and so much room to see how far we can take this thing is pretty cool.
And we are very upfront and honest about it. We've seen other companies like shy away from the fact we've been upfront, like ain't nobody trying to catch Rona. Trying to catch it. We don't want anyone in our community to catch it. So we were just upfront of that from day one. Like our marketing told you, we're going to be very responsible with how we do this thing because we don't want to get sick. We don't want to get anybody. So we just said it out loud. We were a brand that was very upfront with what's going on. We didn't have to hide behind the word, fancy big words. I think we literally said like, we don't want to catch Rona and we don't want you to either. So here's this is how we're going to keep our whole community safe. And as things kept we kept our community updated. You know, when the mask guidelines, when our governor's doing a press release about, we call it Rona, we shared it with our community, like this is what's going on. We think this is what's gonna happen. We're planning for that. We have contingency plans for everything because we just love planning.
We even did vaccination shots.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
at the shop.
Yep, we did vaccination. Stood on the side of we want to keep our community healthy and we want to have access. So we hosted a vaccination event, and we had the biggest vaccination event that department had ever seen.
Oh wow,
For
nice.
chemo. Yes.
Here's the last question before we kind of go into the closing segment. Unless other people throw a cue and question in the chat, have you thought about working with the government to maybe put a shop up on military bases? Dollar signs, y'all.
Whoop, whoop.
Wow.
We have multiple government contracts right now, which we're really excited about. And so we haven't thought about specific military on a military base, but we're open to that, and we would be down for that. So if you got the connect, let us know. But we have multiple county, city, and state contracts that they're in right now that we're super excited about. We made sure that we were ready to accept those. Like we did the background work first to make sure we could accept government grants and we could accept government money. And we at that place, so we are down.
All right, so I don't see any additional questions in the chat, but the Next World Leader, he threw out a compliment. I thought I'll flash it up on the screen. He's just a great positive entrepreneurship from you guys. So bravo, more examples of Black business that we need out here. So great job, guys. Hey guys, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Before we wrap up, let's talk about Darnesha. You know, your family and our family has, we have a connection. There's one quick question before I go into that. Did you have to get a permit to sell beverages? I would assume you would.
We did. Yep.
Okay.
We had to get permits to sell food. Yes.
So
sell food and beverages.
So guys, just before I go into the closing question, there's one additional question I noticed, and I noticed that you guys have a very young leadership team compared to conventional businesses. Who decided to go that route and why? Even my daughter claims she's a manager at your shop. So it's incredible. My daughter is like 13 years old, and she's been a manager at your shop since she was 11 years old. Who came up with that concept? And she doesn't get paid, obviously, it's illegal. But your real management team is a young management team. So tell us about that.
I just think that young folks have amazing ideas, and they see the world differently than me or Darnesha, because they were raised in a different society. You know, things is mostly online. Even the way they communicate is differently. Like they've learned a lot of things online versus where we were kind of just told what things were, you know, and some of those things are true and some of them may not be as true, right? And so the kids that we work with or the youth, they typically just have really good ideas. And so we just let them execute, and then we teach them like the parameters around the business pieces. But we just let them run with it, and it's just been amazing.
And we're building up, I mean, this is a part of our succession plan. We are not just putting emerging leaders in position and not developing them. We spend, 4 hours? At the beginning, we spent 8 hours a week with them in a room one-on-one, developing their leadership skills, very upfront about we hold them accountable. We want you to be better. And let's face it, we want them to be the next people that can know how to sit on a board. And we're trying to diversify many people are trying to diversify their staff, and we are creating executive level leaders. They can sit in rooms with senior leadership of large corporations, Fortune 500 conversations, and they can close deals. Erwin has taught them sales. He has taught them how to upsell. He has taught them and developed them how to speak and show up in those places. And we've taught them how to show up as themselves in those spaces and execute and get it done. And so also the baggage, a lot of people who've been in business for a long time have, they don't come with knowing the systems that we're all so used to that don't work. Some of them don't work. And so we lay out all the options, right? For our payroll system is on an app right? It's easy taxes, it's accessible to them. How we communicate with our team is through a chat group, because that's how they communicate. And so we have multiple chat groups. Sometimes I get confused what's happening. I can't keep up. But they're on Instagram to communicate those ways. And we have learned multiple ways to communicate with people. One of the biggest things that we always had in our workplaces is that the communication was always off. And we wanted to make sure that we knew how to communicate. That's taught us how to be flexible and nimble.
That's true. One of the things you said, like flexibility, being able to pivot when something changes. That's what we do. That's what we do well. You know, there's a lot of companies that cannot do that, like change and flow. I say like flow like water. That's what we do. That's what we pride ourselves on doing.
And they're not afraid to take risk either. They'll take a risk. If we give them the blueprint, they will take it and run with it. And they do way better than I ever could. And we're fine with that. I'm like, take it and run with it. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, we saw that in the opening video where you had the leadership team there. And the thing about it, guys, you're living it. I mean, you actually employ like 19-year-old, 20-year-old young adults to help run your business. They know social media. They know Instagram. Old folks like me do not. It's just smart. Just extremely smart. The way you guys did that. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, Darnesha, you know the Wearies and the Johnson we have a connection, and that is what you do for the baby girls. And for those out there that have a baby girl or multiple baby girls like I do, these guys are incredible. Darnesha's been running a step team, I believe, since 2000.
Yes.
And you get all of these little girls together and you teach them how to step, and you guys compete in competition. It's like a drill team, but it's like real stepping. You are a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta.
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
And
yes.
that stepping looks a lot like Zeta stepping to me, Darnesha.
Yeah, because I'm creating future Zetas. What do you mean?
Very, very smart. So tell us about that for our audience, our subscribers that may have, little girls. Are you going to bring that back? I know throughout the pandemic, we have not been able to participate for the last 2 years. But what's your plans with that before I play a video of my daughter and your daughter on television with this whole step team that you lead? So can you share what's happening with that?
So we had to take a break through COVID, but I'm bringing the competition team back. They'll be coming back in April, and we'll have tryouts coming out soon because we have multiple requests for performances in state and out of state. And when the artists come through Black Coffee Northwest, we will make sure that we have the step team perform as well. And so we have a lot of requests. So we're coming back. And we're a nationally recognized step team. Worked with Lizzo. We worked with some other major artists that are on multiple stages. And we have a lot of artists who are wanting to work with the step team. So we're coming back.
All right. That's great. And that flashed our kids up. That's our kids at Black Coffee. There's your daughter there, the Weary's daughter. There's my little baby girl there, and some of her step team partners. And there's my business partner Gordon, who you guys are connected with, his daughter, and then my daughter there, as well as our kids, your daughter and my daughter on stage performing. So let me play this video from King 5 from the TV show from 2 years ago when my daughter was 11 years old. Yeah, my daughter's been on TV multiple times stepping.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna turn my daughter into a Zeta. I come from a home of AKAs. I come from a house of AKAs. So
she already told me that. So I was like,
let me play the video for our audience. All right, let's check it out from King 5 New Day show.
Healing is an act of resilience, an act of survival, an act of
Yeah, guys. They did the makeup
That's
on my
all right.
daughter crazy on that TV show. But guys, you got to get with Darnesha on the Step Team. My daughter has been on that Step Team since she was a baby. She's only 13 now, but it's amazing what you can teach the children. And then thank you again for joining the show, joining us today. Let's do this again in the future. It's been a pleasure having you guys on the show. Any closing remarks or anything that the community need to know about before we wrap up?
I just thank you for having us on the show. It's a great show, and I can't wait to do this again. It's been a pleasure.
Yep, and I would tell anyone that's out there that is thinking about starting a business, take a bet on yourself and just do it, and know that it's not always fun. There's hard times, but the payoff is so great.
Yeah.
And we're creating something for generations to come. So we're trying to create generational wealth. So I encourage everyone out there to just try it out and do it.
Yeah, guys, like the video and share the content for sure. This is the Bet Out of Debt show. If you enjoy the content that you hear today and you got some appreciation for it, like the video, ring the bell, subscribe. This is the Bet Out of Debt show. We call this show the Bet Out of Debt show because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet, which is a metaphor for investing. And hopefully it's a winner one to keep you out of debt. And as always, keep investing in wealth, health, self, and we'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.
Thank you.